What's up, y'all? Static Swift here. As some of y'all know, recently I picked up an Ls400. Pretty cheap, but we're going to be turning it into a drift car. Anyway, the first step of that is we got to tuck these wiring harnesses. Let me flip the camera so y'all can see. We got to tuck the wiring harnesses that sits under these fenders so that the wheels don't rub up on it, mess up your car. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We got the G in front of the Lexus. I want to move this out of the way so that we can have the Lexus up here, have more room for it. Gotta jump this car, put coolant in the Ls400, and then I should be able to get everything moved and have everything flip-flopped. We're gonna put this one in the back, this one in the front, and I'll have more room to work on everything. But we'll get right to it. Now that that's out of there and we can actually hear, we'll go back in. Recently we did a bunch of maintenance on the Ls400. We did water pump, timing belt, crank seal, spark plug wires, all the gaskets under the intake manifold and the intake runners. I redid a wiring harness up here. It was running before. I just wanted to get a few things kind of nice and done right. It wasn't getting enough power, like after shifting through second and third gear. Wanted to get that taken care of. Still hasn't been driven, but pretty sure she's solid. We're gonna fill up the coolant. This will be the first time it moves under its own power. We'll pull it out of the storage unit, pull the other G37 into the storage unit, then we'll have this at the front. We can work on it a little bit more freely. If you're ever in a situation where you don't have a funnel, which is what we were doing, we were gonna just use a water bottle, but we got a piece of paper in here, just spiraled up. It's gonna work just fine. Cars pulled out, looking pretty sick. I've never seen them all three lined up like this. But G37, I'll have to do a video on this one. But this recently got impounded, so we're freshening up the lip. Still getting wrapped up. I messed up the rear bumper pretty bad. Need to polish these damn wheels too. Rear bumper's pretty cooked. Could have been worse though, definitely could have been worse. Let me go ahead and sweep this out real quick. We'll pull in the G and then we'll pull the Lexus in right after that. Pulled in, go ahead, pull in the Ls400, get to work on that one. Back to the Ls400. Did leave the bleeder screw off of the thermostat while I was running it, so sprayed a little bit of coolant. Not too worried about it. But to get to the wiring harness, you'll have to pull off your fender. So we're gonna go ahead and jack up the car, take off both wheels, take off the fenders, and we'll get to it. Now that we got it in the air, we're obviously gonna go ahead and take off the wheels. If you wanted to leave the wheels on, I guess you could, but it's just gonna make your life easier to have them off. Now that we got the wheels off, we're gonna start the process of removing the fenders. We got a bunch of bolts up here along this. On this specific car, a couple of things have been broken. A couple bolts have been broken. Only gonna make my life easier for taking off the fender, but we are also gonna be installing a new driver's side fender. This one's pretty beat up. It's obviously not gonna match, but I got a roll of wrap back there for the Ls400. Probably gonna do like a two-tone, gray on the bottom, black on the top to match that one over there. Or I guess not match, but be opposite of it. We're about to remove the headlights to start working on the fender, and then we'll get it knocked out. For removing this fender, there is usually like a plastic fender liner down here. My car obviously doesn't have it. To remove those, it should just be a bunch of 10 millimeters and like a plastic trim remover. You'll be good there. Along with the top bolts, we also did these bolts up here in the front, right here, here, and up here. There's a few more back here. My car's a little bit different because it has shit missing, but this bolt up in this corner we'll have to take out. You would also have to take out the one connecting to the bumper over here, but mine doesn't have that. And then whenever we get over to this part, it should look more like this, should have a piece on it. There's a tab back here that goes in behind the door. You'll have to pop the door open, and you could take, it's either a 10 or 12 millimeter, just wrench it out, it'll come out, and then pop this off from the top. There's clips up here that go in these holes, and then it should just wiggle its way out. Don't bend this. You might have to open and close the door, or have it just halfway open to slide it out, but don't break this. This holds it in. And now that I think about it, it's actually not a bolt. It's just a plastic clip that holds it in there. So you'll need a plastic trim remover, like I said. Once you get that off, this is a crumpled, messed up fender, so you don't see it, but there'll be 3 bolts. You'll have this one here, you'll have one down here, and one right here. This one just has a little self-tapper. Hard to see, pretty stupid, but we're gonna get that fixed. I have a bunch of new fender bolts and obviously the new fender, so it'll be sitting nice. So we went ahead, got all the bolts disconnected off of this fender. Gonna go ahead, pull it off now, and that's where we're at. All right, y'all. Now that we got both the fenders off, I got the good fenders sitting together. We're gonna reuse the one off of the passenger side. It's just been up right here, but I'll be able to fix that. And then we're gonna throw this one on the driver's side. Out for a second so I can move the harness around. And now we can kind of line it up and see where it's gonna go. I'll make my cut probably right around here so that the wire can come up, sit around here. We'll go ahead and pull this up here. See, we're already able to get the cable up farther. I wasn't able to get it up this far. Then we pull it over here. I can see I need to make the cut right there. And we'll just cut a slit out. We'll hammer this down, hammer this up, and then we'll be able to feed the wire in there, see where it's gonna sit. I think I'll probably get some stuff. All right, y'all, so this is what we're working with. The wire harness is gonna be tucked fully out of the way. I went ahead, the cuts are probably way bigger than they need to be, but I cut it down here and hammered it up, cut it over here and hammered it up. Cut over here, hammered these down and up in here. I tried hammering them up, but the wire harness didn't want to fit around it as good. Couldn't get as much clearance, so went ahead, just cut a slit right here, hammered these up. I'm gonna get a grinding disc and kind of go along all this and all this so that there's no sharp edges for my fingers or for the wiring harness. And then we'll tape up the wiring harness a little bit in these areas with some friction tape, and we'll get some self-tap screws, get it mounted up. But it's coming along. Moving on to this side real quick, I didn't want to keep switching off the cutoff wheel for a grinding wheel, so just gonna go ahead and knock out this side, and then we can use the grinding wheel on both sides. Y'all can see we got those cuts made, just kind of chilling up here. We'll go ahead and bend this or cut off a little bit more so there's more clearance, but this is sitting nice. Bend that up, bend this down, and we're chilling. Now I got everything where it needs to be. The next thing I'm gonna do is get the cutoff wheel and just kind of grind everything down so it's not as sharp, make everything smoother for the tires, for my hands, for the wiring harness. Don't want anything catching on. All right, y'all, made a bunch of progress away from the camera. Wrapped up the harnesses and friction tape, tons of it. Definitely don't short yourself on this tape. It's gonna protect you from the rubbing and everything whenever you're hitting bumps, etc. I just took some fucking straps that I had from my gas tank on that car because the gas tank's in the trunk now. No longer need the straps. It was just super flexible metal. I cut it up. Got some shit going. I'm just gonna drill a hole through these and self-tap them into here, but I think I'm gonna shorten this one a little bit. So that's for the driver's side. I got two over here on the passenger side just to take some more slack out of the line, but same concept over here. Just gonna drill a hole, hammer everything down, drill it in with the self-tap. But yeah, making big progress. But yeah, finna take these brackets off, take them home. I'm finna go get something to eat real quick, and then we'll pick back up on this in a little bit. All right, y'all, it is next day. As you can see, we got the harnesses relocated fully. I went ahead, just did what I said, got some metal straps, tied it down. I taped this section up really good because I don't want anything wiring, chafing. Same thing down here. Got those edges cut out, everything just routes straight into it. Super taped up so nothing happens to the wiring harness. Go over here to this side. Over here, got these two holding slack up tight. Bunch of tape right here, bunch of tape right here. Same thing. And we should be able to fit the fenders on. If I do have issues fitting the fenders on right here, because this is sticking up, then I'll just get a grinding disc and flatten it down a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I also went ahead and maxed out the coilovers on both sides. It's just true art coilovers. That's what it came on. So that's gonna be all for the video today. Make sure to like, subscribe, keep up with the content. I know that we're gonna be making this car a series, so next video is gonna be pulling the differential, getting it ready for drift. We might do a hydro after that. I really don't know. I got wrap ready for the car. I also got the homie pulling up right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the LS400 button up so we can go drive it, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.